Hey everyone, welcome back to the neighborhood. It's your friendly neighborhood reviewer with InToIt Reviews. Today, we're taking a look at the Shozy Rouge thanks to Linsol. And boy, this little IEM is a beauty. It's a hand-painted IEM in what I'm gonna call a unicorn barf colorway. But seriously, I really do like the look of these. When I first saw these on Shozy's Instagram, I was like,
shut up and take my money!
I liked the look of them so much that I really didn't even care what these sounded like. But if the Shozy 1.1, which I reviewed previously on the blog, video to come in the future, was any indication of what was possible, then I was all in on these. And let me tell you, I'm glad I took the plunge and I reached out to Linsol to send me one in for review. Because sonically, it's like a really great Swiss Army knife. So let's get into it. And just a disclaimer before we get into it, per usual, Linsol has provided me with the product, but they have not tried to influence my review otherwise, and all views, comments, and opinions are my own. Per Shozy, each hand-painted shell is unique. I have seen a number of these sets and pictures, and they do all look different. So regarding the color scheme, it's a bit of a gamble. Some focus more on pinks, reds, and whites, while others highlight some other colors such as purples, blues, or gold fleck. My particular set isn't the best colorway that I've seen, but it's better than some of the other ones that I have seen as well. So if you decide to go with the Rouge, I wish you some luck in the colorway lottery. Nevertheless, the Rouge is extremely comfortable in the ear due to its small size, and with the right size tip, it nestles perfectly in my concha. The Rouge has a slightly recessed 2-pin connector, but I had no problems attaching alternative cables. And let me tell you, alternative cables are necessary. My biggest gripe with the Rouge is that Shozy should be ashamed of themselves for the accessory package here. The included 3.5mm cable is a straight gray plastic sheathed atrocity. It reminds me of the nightmare that is the 17.7X Go cable. Like that cable, it is springy, snakes up, and it will not straighten out fully. It is basically unusable, even if it does aesthetically match the earphone, and it does sound fine. My favorite cable to use with this set is the Linsol HC08 2-pin cable terminating in a 2.5mm balanced connection. I'll place a link to the Linsol cable in the description below. The included tips are also terrible. Again, they look nice and fit comfortably, but they darken the sound and hold the Rouge back from greatness when they are in use. You also only get 3 sets of tips in total, and there is only one variant included in the package. While I ultimately like the idea of simplistic packaging, from my perspective, if you are going to include only one set of tips, make sure it's one that sounds good on the IEM. Tips that I think match this set better include JVC spiral dots, AZLA Sedna earfit elastic tips, and Final Audio Type E tips. Regarding the elastic tips, I had to go with a small to get the fit right here, as I usually take a medium tip, but these run small. Even in the medium-small variety, this was too big for me with the Rouge. When you receive the Rouge, it's just a thin, simple black cardboard box with an IEM case inside. Inside of the case are 2 additional sets of tips, the crummy cable, and the IEMs themselves. I was initially excited to get the new Shozy case with the protective coating, but after inspecting it, I would have rather received the gray cloth covered case instead, as this case is smaller and it appears to be less prone to indentations, which is a problem with the 1.1 case I received and this Rouge case as well. But despite the lackluster accessories, I still think the Rouge is worth a purchase, just for the sound. This IEM is a great all-arounder. Its presentation is smooth without ever coming across as fatiguing, and it's got great resolution and clarity for its price. It has a soft but impactful linear bass response that never seems to be lacking, a present mid-range, and the perfect amount of treble to provide a decent amount of air to the sonics without ever sounding harsh. I could listen to these every day for hours on end and always be satisfied. Uniquely, these also possess a certain amount of expansiveness to their auditory character, which is a rare quality that I always look for in an IEM. While it might not be as expansive as something like an Andromeda or a Final Audio B3, it is leaning in that direction, away from the rest of the crowd. The soundstage has good width, excellent depth, and beyond average height to it. Separation is sufficient, imaging is outstanding, and instruments are both distinct and accurately placed in space within the sound field. Vocals are somewhat forward, but not overly so, and they often have an ethereal quality to them, which is pleasant, alluring, and inviting. Timbre is slightly drier and brighter on the top end, and warmer and lusher as you move down the frequency response towards the bass. But overall, I would say that this is an appropriately warm earphone, and compared to the Shozy Forum 1.1, it is much closer to neutral. These sound like what I was expecting to get from the Moondrop Starfield, and offer a better, more sophisticated balance presentation than the SimGot EN700 Pro even. I have written reviews of each of these sets up on my blog, so take a look at those until I get around to making the videos. But back to the Rouge for now. Instead of a jack of all trades, master of none scenario, the Shozy Rouge has more of a master of many, Renaissance earphone kind of vibe going on. Having said that, the Rouge does lack some musicality here or there, presents as somewhat overly smoothed over at times, and is notably devoid of a defining X-factor characteristic. In other words, it seems to be missing the immediate mind-blowing wow factor which some of my favorite higher-priced IEMs do possess. But for the $180 price tag that these little gems cost, it is an extremely reliable and solid performer for everyday use. In the end, I'm ultimately not sure what else I could reasonably ask for from Shozy here, aside from maybe a better accessory package. And just a reminder guys, at the 1K subscriber mark I'll be giving away another set of Koss KSC 75s, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, tap that bell, like the video, leave some comments, and also follow the channel at its other neighborhood access locations, such as on Instagram, the blog, on Twitter, or become a Patreon for only $1.50 a month. And with that, I'm out for now.